A mistaken idea that people often have about faith is that God only wants to be, or God only belongs in certain parts, certain aspects of our lives. So when we think that, what we do is we create this kind of false line between the religious or spiritual things we do, like going to church or Bible study, and all the other parts of our life where we think that God doesn't belong or doesn't want to be a part of those things. And it's really a false line, because the truth is that God wants all of us, that God wants to be a part of every aspect of our lives. And I think you can really kind of hear this coming through in Jesus' words in Matthew 22, where he talks about the greatest commandment. He says the greatest commandment is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And Jesus is kind of covering the bases there, saying God wants all of you. But when we realize that God wants all of us, that God wants to be a part of our whole lives, a question that we then might have is, well, how does God fit in to those other parts of my life that are not so clearly religious or clearly spiritual? And a couple of things I would say. First is, one thing to realize is that God is already there. God is already a part of your whole life. And what God is looking for is for you just to be conscious of the fact that God is with you in all of those other things. And what God's desire is for you to begin to walk with him even in those places, following his leading, letting him shape and guide and grow you. But there's another part of thing that we can do that I really want to focus on today, and it's this. Whatever we do in this life, we're called to do it for God. Colossians 3:23 and 4 says this: whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters. Since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward, it is the Lord Christ you are serving. So whatever we do, we're called to do it for God. Now, as a side note, if there are some things that we're doing that we wouldn't feel comfortable doing for the Lord because they are really not things that we should be doing at all, well, then those things to go, they're not things that we should be doing. But besides that, whatever it is that we do in this life, we are called to do that for God. So that means that when you're at work doing your job, your call is not just to do that to please your boss, not just to do that for a paycheck, but to do it to serve God above all. And all of those other motivations to provide for our families, maybe for our own satisfaction, those motivations are fine. But again, as people of faith, our highest motivation is to do all that we do for God. And therefore, if we're doing it for God, we want to seek to do it the best we can to honor him, to be the best employee we can, to honor him, and also to look to his strength to help us to do that. So for example, if you're a stay-at-home mom, then do that for God and seek to be the very best mom that you can, relying on God's strength and wisdom to help you do that. If you're a student, be a student for God. Try to be the very best student you can, to glorify God, looking to his strength and wisdom to help you and to guide you. If you do volunteer work, do that for God. If you, in your friendship, seek to be the best friend that you can for God. Seek to be the best husband, wife, mother, father, grandfather, grandmom. All those things that we do, seek to do them for God and to make God a part of all of those parts of our lives.